my friends, and welcome back to the Midway. Today we're talking about customizable VTuber models. These are not fully custom models, well I guess we have one exception, but you'll see, but rather models that you can use to get started on your VTubing journey. I've pulled together some of my favorite looking models and options here, from the low price of free up to $75 USD. I think these give you a really great place to start if you're looking into VTubing, especially if you haven't been streaming for a long time beforehand, because throwing hundreds and hundreds or even thousands of dollars into a custom model when you don't even know if you're going to do this long term is probably not the smartest thing. I'm being a little bit of a hypocrite because I actually did start commissioning my models about a month after I discovered VTubing. But in my defense, I'd already been streaming for a year or more. And actually, a lot of the tools that I'm going to show you today weren't available about a year or even more ago. Without further ado, let me show you these models. We're going to start from the lowest price and go all the way up to the $75 one. There will be timestamps below, and I hope that you'll find something that you enjoy. First up is VTuber Kit. VTuber Kit first released to the public in August of this year, so it's relatively new and some people might not know about it, even though it was kind of all over Twitter too. This is a free program that you can use to have a cute little VTuber customized. You can change the hair, I think you can change the clothes, yep, there are clothes options, a bunch of different accessories, and this is just a really nice way to get you started into VTubing. You can see a bunch of the different options here on the right, and example ones already. The latest update for VTuber Kit was about 15 days ago, and the creator does note that there are some glitches going on. However, bug fixes are in the works. And of course, as a free program, I don't think that's something you should really be too harsh on them for. Now, the biggest con to this program, in my opinion, is that the art style might not be for everyone. It's a little bit more cartoon than anime, and obviously I really like anime style, but I think this is a great option, especially if you literally have never even opened like Vroid Studio or any VTuber thing, and you're just trying to see how your face might even track. Give this program a try. If you use it for a bit, throw a little money at the creator. That would be so cool. And with that being said, let's move to the next one. All right, you might have seen this next model already. This one I refer to as the Onee-san model. I've seen it everywhere on Twitter for the past few months. It's by Jenny and you can grab it over on Booth. This one has a bunch of color hair options and it has a bunch of different skin tones too. In my opinion, I think the skin tone doesn't go as dark as perhaps it should. It looks like this might be the darkest shade, which is really not dark enough to give a lot of options. I could be wrong on that front, but I'm not quite sure. This model is 3,000 Japanese yen, which comes out to about $22 USD. You can't change the hair length, but I believe the creator allows you to change the texture of the model file. So if you're a little bit tech savvy in terms of Photoshop or VTube Studio textures, you could actually alter the hair a bit more or other things on the model, including the clothes. But for $22 is a great place to start, especially if you're looking for a live 2D model with toggles and something to get you really introduced to the VTube Studio program, which is very versatile and will allow you to really do a lot with your content. One thing to keep in mind with this model is that there are a bunch of people using it. Some people use it as they're kind of waiting for their custom model, or they're using it as a main model too. So you won't be exactly super unique, especially because the model did just kind of go semi-viral over on Twitter. But I don't think that's really a negative thing. You know, a model is really nice. It's very fun. It can give you a lot of creativity, but at the end of the day, your model is not going to make your content. What's going to make your content is you, the stories you tell, the games you play, and your edits that you put out there. So I still think this is a really great option. I have a little bit of a question mark in my head about the skin tones, but there you go. One last thing about this model is that it's available to purchase over on Booth, which is a platform owned by Pixiv. I use it a lot for digital goods, so it would behoove you to look if you have a credit card that would not charge you conversion fees or such, or maybe use a PayPal and see how that goes. I'm not an expert in that area, so sorry I can't help you too much there, but that's what Booth is. It's used very widely and a great place to look for assets. All right, the next one on the list is one that I actually don't think you've heard of before. This is a customizable VTuber that you can grab over on Etsy. It's by Soyoco. It's $23 USD. As you can see, there are a bunch of customizable things on this model, from the eye color to the hair color, and there are a bunch of different outfits as well. Let's take a look at the video. This model I would describe as like a semi-anime, semi-horror goth style. I really like it. I think it's pretty unique. Obviously, this is a customizable avatar that anyone could buy and change for themselves, but I honestly haven't seen anyone use this so far, and I feel like it'd be a really great place to go maybe if you're into this sort of art or if you want to play some scary games. Especially at $23, this looks like a really incredible find. As you can see, some of them have like tails of some sort or a devil tail of some sort, but it looks like you could also just not have that too. We have this cute little sweater going on. We have a little maid outfit. We got some devil wings in the back, demon wings if you will. Etsy is also a platform that a lot of North American people are very familiar with, and since that's a lot of my audience here, hello, you might feel more comfortable going here than a different website. This one is $23. That has a bunch of wonderful reviews. Again, I haven't tried all of these models, but just bringing you something, a resource that you might be interested in. I think this is a really cute option. Our next option is also on Etsy by Azuyani. This one you have probably seen before if you're on VTuber Twitter. I think this was actually the very first customizable VTuber that went kind of viral over on Twitter. At least as long as I've been on Twitter for the past like year-ish. But you can change the hair length, you can change the hair color. There's a few different shirt and pant options, but this one I think is the most moldable style of customizable VTuber I've seen. It's an anime style, it's very cute. It's very hard to imagine a character that wouldn't fit well in this aesthetic. Obviously, we're still talking about the femme side here, but it's beautiful. The hair bounces really nicely. The physics are very cute. This is a $25 model and experience for you to use. It can also get you accustomed to VTube Studio, just like the last example we talked about. This particular customizable VTuber has 4 different skin tones. I feel like we could always use more skin tones, but I will note that the darkest skin tone does seem to be darker than the other options we have on here. Honestly, we have a huge problem in VTubing. If you're not a super pale, skinny VTuber model, you will struggle to find an artist to make something for you, and that really freaking sucks. So I'm really happy to see something here that is not super pale white and is a little bit varied, even though we could always go for more options here. This model has a bunch of 5-star reviews. It looks like Azuyani has added a bunch of different things to their store, but if I remember correctly, I think at one point they were only selling the customizable VTuber and they still had hundreds of sales, and people are very pleased with it. So if the style looks really cool to you, I don't think you can lose out on giving it a try. All right, the next model we're looking at is a tiny bit of a jump up in price at $32 USD, 4,500 yen. This one is also over on Booth. I don't really know what to call this one. I don't speak Japanese, but I think it's like a really cute, like semi-chibi model. It's absolutely adorable. The physics are so cute. You can click through here and see so many different hair options. Looks like they even included some animal ears if you'd like. Different clothing as well. More clothing options, lots of different colors here. This model goes so in depth that you can actually have different sorts of styles of bangs if you would like, different lengths of hair, different styles of hair too, and of course the different colors of hair as well. The biggest drawback on this model, which is a common one unfortunately, is that it seems like there's only 4 skin shades and the darkest one is not that dark. It's nice to have something instead of nothing, but I still wish they would have even darker shades or maybe a custom slider. Different eye colors are really cool. There are even 2 different poses, different outfits, and there are even some custom toggles so you can change your expression as you go. Again, this model you can grab on Booth. It's about $32 USD, which is kind of a steal when you think about it. The biggest drawbacks on this one, again, is the skin tone and then perhaps the art style. It is a very semi-chibi small style, so if that doesn't fit you and your content, then maybe this one isn't for you, but it's a great option out there. All right, my friends, remember when I said I was going to show you customizable VTubers and not fully custom ones? Well, I found this, and this kind of threw my video idea for a loop because this lovely person, ThornzedgeDesign, is actually offering custom-made VTuber models on I believe a Vroid base for about $42 USD. Usually if you see anything for that price that's custom, I would be very wary, but it honestly seems like they have a bunch of really positive reviews that are recent. And to be quite honest with you, I'm just not really well versed in the 3D area. This could be very much legit because 3D modeling off of a base, they might be able to do it in a way that is still profitable for them because they're adding stuff on top of a base instead of making something from full scratch. Nonetheless, it has great reviews, so I feel like I had the obligation of showing you this. $42, custom model, male, female, non-binary, anything you want. This is really the option that I would point you toward if you want a 3D model because there just happen to not be a lot of them that are customizable. I, again, don't really know the programs, but that kind of makes sense to me. Maybe it's a little bit harder to have toggleable things in a 3D model. This is also the option that I have for you if you happen to want a more masculine model. Unfortunately, all of the other ones that I have for you today are just not really more on the masculine side. You could probably get something close to it, but they're obviously not made for a more masculine form. And yeah, this is a great option, I think. I'm kind of curious to see what would happen if I paid them for it. If you would be interested to see what would happen if I did that, leave a comment below. And let's go to the next one. Clocking in at around $57 USD, this might be my favorite option of the bunch today. From Yumimi Live 2D, this is a customizable model. It has so many freaking options. It's very, very anime style. Honestly, I feel like the eye shape is a little bit similar to my custom model that you see right before you. If this was a thing when I first started VTubing, I don't even know what I would have done because maybe I would have been using this and you wouldn't see this glorious face flip before you. But let's break this down. There's an option to change the front layer of your hair. There are options to change your bangs. There are options to change the back of your hair or the top of your hair. And this video only shows, I believe, this model changing in this one outfit, but there are a bunch more that you can actually change too. The studio behind this model went ahead and made a tutorial video on how to change colors of the model. In this video, I believe they only showed changing the hair color to black, but they have some pictures to show you different ranges that are available as well. As you can see from here, there's some options to actually change your eyelash color as well as your hair color. It does seem to be like a smaller range than other options here, kind of like a white, a blondish white, purple, pink, blue, blonde, red, and then different versions of black. So you won't get like a regular brunette here or other sorts of greens, but still a really nice variety here. And I really like the highlight options. And as we saw earlier, there are so many different ways to customize the shape of the hair. I suppose that's where a lot of the time went into. The outfits here have different color versions as well, but you'll see there's still really only one outfit available. As always, we have to look at the skin colors, and while there are so many options for pupils, it looks like there are only 3 options for skin, and these are pretty bad. I think this is the worst range that we might have seen all day. There are 3 versions of skin. I can barely tell the difference between the second one and the last one, and it doesn't go as dark as it really should here. So all in all, I think this is a beautiful, gorgeous option art style wise. It's really up my alley, but again, we just have problems. Why do we have problems having skin options or just body options either? But it's a great option if this is a style you're into or your OC might fit into this slot already. This option again was about $57 if you convert it to USD. It's available on Zima as well as Muse Space. This is another thing about this model that I'm not quite sure about, but if you didn't know, Nezima is actually very difficult to use / impossible to use if you're overseas. It's a website that you're supposed to use if you're in Japan. However, some people will cross-post their listings on Nezima and then somewhere else as well. For example, I know someone who bought an adoptable model that was originally listed on Nezima through like a direct invoice or PayPal talking to the creator, and then they took down that original listing on Nezima just because they were an overseas customer and unable to get it on Nezima directly. So if you were interested in this model, I would suggest going to Muse Space. I don't know what this website is. I don't know if it's trustworthy, but honestly, I would give it a try just because the VTube Studio seems to be trustworthy and they've been selling it here. That's just me though. This is not advice for you. Unfortunately, your girl doesn't have $57 sitting around to spend on a model when I do have my own, but if you're really interested in me giving it a try instead, let me know below and we'll see what we can do. All right, my next option for you is actually our last one for the day. This one is interesting. If you buy it off of Booth, it costs about 6,999 yen, which translates to roughly $50 USD. However, this one is available to purchase off of Ko-fi or Ko-fi, however you like to say it, for 75 or more dollars, which is obviously more than 50. I'm still including this fact, and obviously some people have bought it here anyway, and I believe that's because North American audiences are just more familiar with Ko-fi at this point, and it seems like a safer option than buying something through a different currency off of Booth. However, personally, I would probably buy it off of Booth because I've used it before and I'm comfortable with it. Without further ado, let me show you the video of this model that probably has the best range of skin tones so far. As you can see, similar to the last model, you can customize the bangs here, so a lot of different variables. You can even customize the length of it, so that's really cool. We can change the back hair as well and even have different hairstyles going on. These are all controlled with parameter sliders inside of VTube Studio. So if that means nothing to you, that's totally fine, but it also means this is a great place to start to get used to your VTuber model and how to run one for a price that is not hundreds or thousands of dollars of a fully customizable model. Honestly, I feel like I should have said this earlier too, but these options are also great if you have a custom design in mind already, but you're not sure if you're even gonna like it a year from now. You might just want to change it up every now and then, change it to a completely different vibe, and these things will give you the flexibility to do that without then having wasted your hundreds of thousands of dollars. As you can see from the promo image here, there are a bunch of different color options for your hair as well as the lengths that we just saw. It seems like there's only one outfit, but you can have different versions and collective colors in it. And honestly, this model in the back, this version in the back, is the one that really sold me on this design. I haven't seen a VTuber model that does dark skin this well in the customizable space before. I've seen obviously completely original ones that are amazing, but this is just really impressive to me. Let me see if I can find some more photos. All right, here's the video from their Twitter account. As you can see, everything is fully rigged and moving, and the color palettes are so good. They're so impeccable. I'm so glad we have a bigger range of just everything. I know we watched one other video, but this one will actually show you the different ways that you can change different tones of the hair. You don't even have to match every single portion of the hair. You could have your bangs different from the rest of your hair, etc. It looks like they're changing the shade of hair texture images instead of like having a toggle pre-made for it. If you're interested in that, I have a tutorial for it on TikTok. I should probably bring it to YouTube soon. But thankfully, like the vast majority of the models I've talked about today, each one of them comes with an instruction guide to get you set up. So if you're a complete newbie and you've never VTubed before, you should still be in good hands. All right, friends, those are all the models I have to show you for today. If one interested you, or maybe multiple, go ahead and find the links to purchase these or check them out further in the description below. If there's one in particular you want me to purchase and show you before you buy, also leave a comment. Or feel free to ask me any questions about getting into VTubing or getting started, especially on a lower budget. Honestly, these are all beautiful options, and I've only seen them pop up within the past year, and that's kind of stretching it. They've mostly been popping up on my feed in the past like 5 months. And considering that I commissioned my model like last December-ish, it's really cool to think about new VTubers having more tools as they jump into the space. One very last important thing to consider, please read the terms and conditions and any credits that you might need to give after you decide to purchase one of these models and use it. Most of you are probably intending to stream or make content and monetize that in some way. And honestly, I feel like all of the creators of these models know that's the case and give you permission to do so, but you always want to cover your back when it comes to these things. So give it a read and give credit where credit is due. Thank you so much for watching. Please like this video and subscribe if you like my strange humor. I post a lot of videos about the VTubing sphere, but also me playing games and making bad jokes. And I will see you next time. Bye!